Hello, good morning. So we're going to continue on talking about homeostasis. So what happens when you go outside in the cold? Does your body temperature fall to meet the outside temperature? It does not, and that's a very good thing. Your body only functions well around 37 degrees Celsius. It is vitally important for your body to maintain that temperature. Whether the weather is below freezing or roasting hot, your body's temperature must stay stable and remain close to 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Each organism requires specific conditions to function. Maintaining those conditions is necessary for life to continue. Remember that the conditions in which an organism's internal environment is kept stable in spite of changes in the outside environment is called homeostasis. So remember, every time there is an outside stimulus, okay, we're going to have our sensor. So our sensor is going to be interacting with our nervous system, where we have all of our nerve endings near the surface of our skin. That is going to be sending signals up the spinal cord up to our brain. So our brain's going to be that little sensor that's going to let us, the body, know what to do. So for example, we know that if it's too cold, we're going to sweat. And if it's too if it's too hot, we're going to sweat. And if it's too cold, we're going to start shivering. So that's very important to regulate temperature. So when your body temperature starts to fall too low, your nervous system sends out signals to the other systems to take action to warm you up. Your skin, which is part of the integumentary system, develops goosebumps. Your muscles cause you to shiver. You tend to move your large muscles to generate heat. All of these actions help you raise your temperature back to normal. So if you think about it, when you're cold, your muscles need to shiver because they are warming you up from the inside. Now, if it's too hot, you're going to sweat. Sweating is going to cause this liquid to come out of your body, and that liquid is going to evaporate. When it evaporates, it's going to cool you down. Also, structures in your inner ear sense the position of your head. They send this information to your brain, which interprets the signals. If your brain senses that you are losing your balance, then it sends messages to your muscles to move in ways that help you stay steady. So remember, the same thing if you're walking in a straight line, if you're about to do a cartwheel, anything like that, your body needs to remain in balance or some form of balance. So your body is going to try to correct you when it senses that you're not off, so you don't fall, hurt yourself, things like that. When the cells in your body need more energy, hormones from your endocrine system signal the nervous system to make you feel hungry. After you eat, other hormones signal your brain to make you feel full. So this is very important. Most of the time when we are hungry, we need food. Okay, most of you guys don't eat very healthy, because I see what you guys eat in class. So here's the thing. Your body's gonna make you feel hungry until you give them the nutrients that they want. So for example, if you are eating hot Cheetos for breakfast, it is not going to fill you up. Okay, very shortly after eating those hot Cheetos, maybe like let's say an hour later, you're gonna be hungry again. And you're going to keep being hungry because your body is not meeting the energy needs that it needs to operate. So, if you have a very healthy breakfast, I don't know, an oatmeal, some fruit, some healthy cereal, things like that, you're not going to feel as hungry because you're satisfying the nutrients that your body needs. This is why it's very important to eat healthy, because then, yes, you might lose weight, but you're also maintaining that the energy needs that your body needs to function. Also, all the chemical reactions that keep you alive take place within the watery environment of your cells. If your body needs more water, then your nervous system causes you to feel thirsty. Your senses, muscles, and skeleton take you to a source of water. After you've had enough water, your nervous system causes your thirst to end. Soon after, the water passes through the digestive system to your circulatory system, and from there into your cell. The water balance is restored. Very important to drink enough water. Technically, you should be drinking around half of your body weight in ounces. So let's say you weigh 100 pounds. So you should be getting 50 ounces of water a day. That is one recommendation. Most also suggest those at least like 7 bottles of water, things like that. So just make sure you're getting enough water for your cells. Okay, managing stress. So a lot of us are usually very stressed. So in general, stress is just the reaction of a person's body to potentially threatening, challenging, or disturbing events. Each person experiences stress differently. One person may enjoy taking on the challenge of a math test, while someone else might freeze with fear. Some stress is unavoidable. If stress is over quickly, then the body returns to its normal, healthy condition. However, too much stress for too long can also be very unhealthy. So ongoing stress can disrupt homeostasis and weaken the body's ability to fight disease. Stress can also cause depression, headaches, digestive problems, heart problems, and other health issues. Finding ways to reduce and relieve stress is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. So, of course, stress is in school, stress is in jobs, anything like that. So remember, stress can cause so many body issues. It's very important to manage your stress accordingly. So there's many things that you could do to manage stress. So one of my personal favorites is dancing and yoga. So I would definitely recommend that. You can always, coloring is a very good option. Yes, playing games here and there, not enough to take time away from your studies, but you can play games. Anything that'll get your body moving is the best though. So anything that is outside, anything that's out in the sun. If you like to play basketball, volleyball, tennis, running, jogging, stretching, like I just said, yoga, things like that. It is very stress relieving. So those be very, very good recommendations. So when your body systems are in balance, you're healthy. Germs that cause disease can disrupt homeostasis and make you sick. Think about the last time you had a cold or strep throat. You may have had a fever and less energy. Your body was devoting resources to the immune system so it could fight the disease. The immune system includes specialized cells such as the one that I have. I'll show you a picture. When you're sick, these cells temporarily increase in numbers. Fighting infections sometimes causes your body temperature to go up. As you get well, your fever goes away and your energy comes back. So most of the time, your temperature is going to increase because let's say these germs and these viruses, bacteria, they're not normally able to survive hot temperatures. Obviously, there's some of them that really can, that even if your body increases its temperature, it will not kill it. But some will. So you would have an increase in body temperature that would kill all these bacteria and things inside of you, and hopefully it'll make you start feeling better. So once you start feeling better, the fever is going to obviously decrease and the energy is going to return. That's why it's very important for you to stay healthy, to not be extremely stressed, because like we just said, if you're extremely stressed, your immune system is not going to work necessarily very good, and you're going to be getting colds and things like that also. So we're going to move on to this next standard. Remember, you can use this standard to go to CPOMs, and they have really, really good lessons on there also. So this particular standard, we're going to be comparing and contrasting the structure and functions of major organelles of plant and animal cells, including cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, chloroplast, mitochondria, and the vacuoles. So remember, I had you guys do an activity where you had to draw the plant animal cell and label at least 10 of the organelles and what they do. So if you did that, hopefully you did, then you'd be in a good position where you're at least familiar with all of these terms so far. So humans, mushrooms, and plants are all made up of many parts. If you've ever taken apart a flower, a leaf, or a nut, you've also seen that it contains smaller parts. You keep dividing the plant up to parts until you go all the way down to the individual cells. As you learned in your study of the cell theory, cells are the smallest functional units of living organisms, but within each cell there are working structures that help the cell function like an entire organism. Each organelle is a cell structure that carries out a specific function within the cell. You can see that the cell may have many of the same organelles, but different organelles have a different structure. And this is because each of the different organelles has a different function. Also, some organelles are found only in plant cells, and the others are only found in animal cells. Bacteria are unicellular organisms that do not contain as many different types of organelles as plant or animal cells. Together, the set of organelles in a cell keeps the cell functioning and contributing to the whole organism. It is very important to note that the parts of a cell are not going to be identical from plant to animal cells, but they do share a lot of many similar structures. So the cell wall, for example, is a structure that is only found in the plant cell. So the rigid supportive layer that surrounds the cell of a plant and other organisms is the cell wall. While plants, fungi, and protists and some bacteria have cell walls, the cells of animals do not have cell walls. One function of the cell wall is to protect and support the cell. The cell walls of plant cells are mostly made of a strong material called cellulose. The cell walls of fungi are made of chitin, the same material that forms the hard outer skeleton of insects. There are many small holes or pores in the plant cells in the walls. These pores allow materials such as water and oxygen to pass through the cell wall. So it's very important for us to understand that cellulose makes up the cell wall, and then the chitin is going to be making up that hard outer skeleton of the plant. For example, this is fungi. So that hard exterior, just like you would see on like an insect, like that shell that's kind of crunchy if you accidentally step on it, that would be the same material that we see in these plant cells. We're going to continue on with cell membrane. Remember, the cell membrane is actually in both. It's going to be in the plant cell and the animal cell. Cell membrane is just a thin, flexible barrier that surrounds a cell and controls which substances pass into and out of the cell. All cells have a cell membrane. In plant cells, the cell membrane is a fluid-like layer between the cell and the cell wall. Animal cells do not have a cell wall, so the cell membrane is the outermost layer. For all cells without a cell wall, the cell membrane forms a border between the cell and its environment. Think about how a dust mask allows you to breathe, but keeps harmful particles outside of your body. One of the functions of the cell membrane is similar to that of a dust mask. It prevents harmful bacteria from entering the cell. Everything a cell needs, such as food particles, water, and oxygen, enters through the cell membrane. Waste products leave the same way. So remember, the cell membrane is just that protective layer that's going to keep the cell healthy. So just like we are right now using these masks and things to go out in public because of the virus and things like that, kind of like the same thing that the cell membrane would do. So we're trying to have this membrane, this this barrier that's going to be surrounding us. Let's say we are the important cell. We're trying to protect yourselves from things that are going to harm us. And thus, that's what pretty much the cell membrane is going to do inside of the cell as well. Remember that the cell membrane is going to allow things to come in and to come out. Okay, so you are going to be allowing in, let's say, oxygen, water, nutrients, food. Remember, we need to be able to get rid of things also. So this cell membrane, just like we have here, right, they have these channels that we talked about before. These channels are going to allow things to come in and out of the cell, which is going to remain or make sure that the cell is in a homeostasis form. And if that is possible, then the cell is going to be able to keep on living and reproduce. So I'm going to actually pause here on the cell membranes, and please make sure that you're taking very, very good notes. Thank you.